Hello friends, Pete the drummer here, and today I am in Chesterfield, New Hampshire to visit the ruins of Madame Sherri's French Chateau. Let's go check it out. That's right friends, like I said, I'm in Chesterfield, New Hampshire, along the, I'm not going to pronounce this correctly, but I think it's Wantastake Trail. It's also known as the Ann Stokes Loop Trail. And this section of the forest that I'm in is known as the Madame Sherri Forest, because Madame Sherri, whose full name was Madame Antoinette Sherri, she was born in Paris, and she was a theatrical costume designer. And the ruins that we're looking at today are the ruins of her summer home. Apparently, she was pretty well off. Couldn't find too much information about the woman herself. What I did find is that she was known for the lavish parties that she would throw here, especially back in the 20s. Now, I believe if I read correctly, Madame Sherri died in 1956, and also the remains of this, her summer home, burned down sometime around that same time in the 1950s. Now, when you come here, where you park right at the trailhead, you just have to follow the trail, not even a 2 minutes walk, and you'll come right to the castle, right to the ruins. Pretty darn impressive. Not as impressive as some other ruins that I've seen, but that stone arch stairway is pretty cool to look at and makes for some great photo opportunities. There's all that's left of her main fireplace. But let me flip the camera around and we'll see if we can figure this place out. Okay, so as you come up the trail, the first thing you'll notice is this long, slightly winding, wide path, wide-stepped rather, stairway. And then as you can see, just to the right of it is the vaulted stone arched stairway that, according to a historical photo at the trailhead, looks like it led directly up to the second floor of the house. Now I'm going to assume, for two reasons, I'm going to assume that this right here would have been the front entrance or the main entrance. First reason is, of course, this grand stairway that you would walk up. And the second reason is because as soon as you would enter the home, you would be facing what I would also assume was a much more grand fireplace. It looks like all that's left of this fireplace is actually the inner bricks, but my guess is the mantle of the fireplace would have been much more lavish, much bigger, much more of a centerpiece, which is why I'm guessing that this was probably the front entrance. On the other hand, if you come around this way, you get to this entrance. Let me turn around. And this is another, now obviously the stairs don't extend quite as far, but they are quite wide. That's about 10 feet from pillar to pillar. this here, at first I thought maybe this was the inside wall of a chimney, but it's curved on the inside. So I'm wondering if this was, and since this is outside, I'm wondering if this would have been more of a decorative feature. Perhaps there was a statue here. Couldn't tell you. And then my guess is this whole area here, you can see the fieldstone walkway here, and it ends right here, and all of this is poured concrete. So my guess is maybe this was an exterior back porch leading into another pretty grand entrance. And this area here, while there's evidence of windows, you can see here on the pillars the squared off poured concrete. That would indicate that there was windows here, but maybe this was more of a three-season porch, indoor, outdoor. It doesn't seem to be a very large house, but there was at least 2 floors, and there's also a basement, which I am standing over right now. So let's go check that out. Okay, so just to get your bearings, that right there is that main fireplace. We originally walked in from over there. We were facing that way. So I've looped around what's left of the foundation of the house. And right over here, you can see this was clearly a staircase at one point going down that way. And you can see down into there. Now I'm not going to bother trying to crawl through here because off in the distance there's better access. So we're going to go ahead and just walk right around the house. Okay, so that's that, what I think was probably a staircase down into the basement. There's the main fireplace again, and I'm now going to walk down the main staircase that I showed you before, and I'm just going to cut over this way, and I'm actually going to walk through one of the arches of the grand staircase here. Now you don't have to do this to get around to the other side of the house. I just think it's more interesting to go this way. You can see here, right there, is the remnants of one of the pillars. And you can actually see where it fell from right there. There's another pillar and one further beyond. So there would have been this pillar that's on the ground here would have stood right there, and you can see how it fell right over. And as you come around to this side, here's the entrance to that lower basement level that I was showing you before. There's actually 3 vaulted sections, but they all lead into the same room. So let me flip the camera and I'll give you guys a look. Now it's pretty dark in here. It's pretty late in the afternoon too. So I don't know how much of this my awful cell phone is going to pick up, but there's really, if you can't see it, there's really not much to see anyway. It's all just sort of graded earth and stone. Just kind of goes up basically to the ceiling there. And there's really nothing down here. That's the entrance we were looking down into before. And there's just some remains of some mortared stonework, maybe more pillars, who knows. Surprisingly, I mean, there is obviously some graffiti, but it's not terribly vandalized. So that's pretty cool. But I love the arches. The arches are really neat to look at. I'm guessing they're not really a functional arch. In other words, the keystone there doesn't look like it's actually supporting the side arches of the arch. I think it's more for decoration than anything else. But it is pretty cool. So guys, right here at the trailhead is this board with some historical photos of the house, including this one, which is really neat because you can see right here, this is the stone arch. You can see the arches and the winding staircase And it's interesting because there was this banister with individual stone pillars going up the side. None of these pillars are there anymore. There's what I believe was probably the front door, and from that door was the long, wide, stepped staircase that you saw before. And then over here, here's another photo of the house from the backside. If you remember, I was saying that this width here is about 10 feet, and this here was that curved depression that I thought may have contained a statue. It doesn't look like it ever did. Actually, what it looks like is there was a tree growing right through up into this second floor landing area. I don't know how well you can see it on this picture, but in between these two stone areas, that part that was kind of a curved area, that's a tree trunk, and you can see its branches going off that way. How cool is that? But it looks like there was never any pillars here at these two sections, even though the stone looks like there may have been. And this is the only picture from inside the house. Looks like there's some kind of desk or secretary right here. This is a fireplace. This could be, I don't know for sure, but this could be that the mantle and the more ornate mantle of the main fireplace as soon as you walk up to what's left of the property. Here's some more pictures of Madame Sherri and her costumes and whatnot. And here we have a photo of Madame Sherri herself. Well, friends, that's about it from Madame Sherri's Chateau. It's a beautiful place, but it's kind of small, not a whole lot to look at, but plenty of opportunity for some really great photos if that's your thing. As always, down in the description will be a link to the webpage that I saw that drew me here, and from that webpage and certainly all the information that I've given you in this vlog, you can certainly find your way here yourself, especially if you're in the Northeast. For me, from my part of New Jersey, this was just under 4-hour ride, but, you know, for the sake of making a video, it was all worth it. Anyway, that's it. Like, share, subscribe. Don't forget to hit the bell icon. Share it with your friends if you think you know anyone who might be interested in this kind of thing as well. I appreciate you guys. Thank you all for watching. Go take a hike.